Can you guys hear me? Yeah, I actually noticed before people told me in the chat. I actually noticed. I don't know. I don't know why the thing does this. I had it on default, and literally the only microphone that I have on the computer is this one. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, whatever you are. In Lisbon, Portugal, today is Thursday, May 22, 2025. And this is the Evan Studios Weekly Podcast, episode 17 of the second season. 17 episodes. That's 17 hours of my life, and somehow it feels like a lot more than that. Makes you wonder about those shows that have 1,000 episodes and they only air like once a week. They have been here for a long time. Anyway, well, let's get the elephant in the room out of the cat's bag. So basically, last Wednesday, not yesterday, the one before that, I was in the office with Isaac, and my brain decided to just go off on me. Basically, we were talking, and out of nowhere, it felt like someone just took off all my processing power. Imagine having like a graphics card, and then your graphics card dies, and suddenly your computer starts going back to the onboard shitty ass graphics card. That's kind of how I felt. I wasn't able to have complex conversations. It didn't affect my memory. It didn't affect my ability to, it didn't affect my balance, my ability to talk, or it didn't make me slur words. But just a massive fog, okay? And I don't know, it felt like my brain was just not working properly. I felt like a dumb person, like an incredibly dumb person. I couldn't go on a tangent while talking. I would forget what I was talking about. And that was the first sign. I got up in the morning. I didn't even know how exhausted I was until I started having that conversation, and out of nowhere, it kind of hit. It just kind of hit you out of nowhere. There was no warning. There was no feeling of exhaustion. Nothing. Just out of nowhere, you're nice, and the next second, boom, your brain just shuts down. I went outside. This had happened to me before, like a month earlier. The same thing happened to me. I quit. I basically been working till like 5 a.m. and then I went to sleep. I got up until like 9 and tried to go back to work right away. And obviously my body didn't feel like collaborating. And I was like, listen, I know I need to do this work. I'll go to bed. I'll compensate as soon as I wake up. But everything was nice. I was tired. I went to sleep. I got back up, and I was able to resume my life normally. This time around, that's not how it worked. I tried to keep... First of all, it took me a lot more time. It took me days, because the first time this happened, after I went to sleep and whatnot, the feeling of the fog, I went outside, I drank some water, I got some fresh air, and in something like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I was already feeling like peachy. I was already feeling like 100%. This time, the feeling didn't leave for days, for like 2-3 days. My head was hurting, my eyes, which is funny, that like literally the ability to not process stuff properly was just the first sign. I didn't even realize how much exhausted I was until everything started setting in. Obviously, the moment that happened, and it was a lot more severe than the first time, right after that kicked in, my anxiety kicked in. And the problem with my anxiety is this. In general, I never have been an anxious person. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but I'm going to be a little bit right now. I have never been an anxious person. I've always been a happy, carefree, things will work out if you put in work, and if you're a nice person in general, things will work out. I've always been that type of person. But back in 2020, the first time I had my breakdown, back in 2020 when I took the COVID shots, I started getting anxious out of nowhere, like a very fast-paced heartbeat out of nowhere. I could literally hear my heart beating out of my chest in regular conversations. I will be in bed. I will be able to hear my heart, like things that you're not supposed to listen to or even pay attention that is happening started happening out of nowhere. It was just I took the shot. I thought everything was nice, and then out of nowhere this started happening. I took the shot. The next day I felt woozy. I went to check for my heartbeat, and it wasn't in the 160s. My blood pressure, sorry, it was in the 160s. I went to the pharmacy. They said everything above 115 is already like super dangerous. If you go above 170, you gotta go to the hospital, which is, a combination of poor information also made me get even more anxious. So the problem is my mom used to be in Portugal we call it it's just hyper something. In Portugal we call it hipertense, which probably translates to something like hypertension, which is someone that has very high blood pressure, someone that has the propensity to have high blood pressure. My mom had that, of course she had. And this was 2020. So at the time I was something like 35, 36. So imagine being 35, 36 and thinking, oh no, I'm gonna become I'm gonna have hypertension like her. It's because it's genetic. It's you can inherit it from your parents. Obviously, it's not like a specific problem. It's usually associated with other things, but a lot of these things are inheritable. And out of nowhere, I just started getting a lot of anxiety. And the problem with anxiety is that you need to relax for it to go away, but you can't relax because you're anxious. So you get in a loop where your anxiety gives you anxiety. That's kind of a problem. And when that happens, you can be in the middle of a lot of people, and suddenly you start feeling your heart beat fast, and your heartbeat, like the pace go faster, and suddenly you stop. You just focus on your health. Like you get scared. You're like, oh my god, it's happening again. People are talking to you. You are not listening. You can even have conversations and you are like replying to them, but you're not paying attention. You're focusing on, oh my god, please don't tell me I'm dying right now. And every time that happens, it's a cycle of getting water, deep breaths, and it's obvious what is happening. People start asking, are you going through an anxiety attack and whatever? Yes, all the time. And that only stopped when I saw my cardiologist. I did a bunch of tests. I did a Holter. I did a heart stress test. I did a bunch of shit, and apparently I was fine. And it was like, listen, I don't want to be an alarmist. I don't want to say anything, but this is very similar to myocarditis. The symptoms are very similar, which are one of the symptoms that people associate. It's very rare, but people associate it with COVID and COVID shots. So I would suggest that you limit your stress and you limit your exercise at least for a couple of months, and you should go back to normal. But just to be safe, just to be careful. This is something that is a thing. So so apparently my doctor was not my doctor, because my doctor what COVID shots, no, they're 100% safe. What are you talking about? They are 100% safe. Bullshit. And then my cardiologist said, listen, you just play safe. Just play safe. A lot of healthy young people have been dying for COVID shot complications. A lot of times it's something related to the heart. So just be careful. And that's what I did. But the problem is, very stressful events since have caused me anxiety. Like, because at that time I learned what anxiety was. I learned what an anxiety attack was. And now, in very few occasions where I'm feeling a lot of stress or whatever, my body responds with an anxiety attack. So it's apparently something that I'm gonna have to live for. I'm gonna have to live with it for the rest of my life. So when that episode happened last Wednesday, not only all the things that I was already going through happened, I also had to deal with my anxiety. I had to deal with the fact that I lost my mom to a neurodegenerative disease, which is inheritable. There's a chance that I might die the same way. And all of that is incredibly scary, man. I've never contemplated my death too much. I usually don't care because I feel like I'm one of those people that I usually don't suffer from anticipation. Because in general, the things that you are more scared about in life, I think it's like 85% of them never come to pass. A study or a bunch of studies showed that usually people worry about shit that never actually even gets to happen. And I also tend to be the type of person that I always look back and forward in life as in, you are you in this second. I used to be afraid because I was going to lose my parents. I used to be afraid because this would happen and this would happen. But the thing is, most of the things that I lost in life, that I was afraid of losing when I was a kid and I was afraid of dying, most of the things that I used to cling to life for, I've lost them in life. I didn't have to die to lose those things. The people that I used to hang out with, the places that I used to love, the things that I used to love to do, you know, all of them just left. All of them just disappeared while I was alive. So the things that I was clinging to life for, that made me be afraid of dying, I lost in life. I didn't have to die to lose them. So life is such like a question mark. It's such an unknown that, you know, suffering from anticipation is usually pointless. Now, very complicated nickname guy in the chat said, "Isn't anxiety suffering from anticipation?" Kinda. It is, because technically you're causing it. As far as I know, you're kind of causing it to yourself. Obviously, there's problems that you can have that are legitimate problems, and when those problems trigger your anxiety, it just exponentiates the problem, because now you're having the problem and your anxiety is making the problem worse. But the problem is, anxiety, while itself it might look like it's not doing nothing, it's sending all your systems on overload. It's basically a trigger of survivability in your body. Like, you want to survive and you panic. Right? Now, the thing with anxiety is that anxiety can be triggered from literally nothing. And usually when that happens, when it's just anxiety, when it's just like fast-paced heartbeat, whatever, I usually just, okay, cool. I'll just, take a few deep breaths, I drink a little bit of water, and it goes away. Now, when it's anxiety triggered by something, then it becomes a problem. Because then you have a problem and your anxiety is making your problem worse. And I've always been humble enough to where I took mental health seriously, especially because I dated people with problems. So I was familiar with the issues, but anxiety attacks, and my brother has them and my girlfriend has them and whatnot, is the type of thing that you see people go through them and you help them go through them, but you never really actually know what it really feels like until you start having one. And you try to like rationalize with it. You try to like, okay, let's just focus. Let's just take a deep breath. Let's just try to go through it. But your body is literally triggering like a stress attack. Like you start believing you are going to die right now for whatever reason it is. And it might be triggered because you have a fast-paced heartbeat. You can't breathe. And in my case was what if I lose myself? What if one day, like, apparently it's so easy to just in 1 second snap. Suddenly 80% of me is gone. And I felt like this body isn't mine. This isn't nothing. This is nothing. If I can't think, if I can't be me, if I can't be my character, if I can't be my experiences, who is this person inhabiting this body? Like, what happened to my memories? What happened to everything? What happened to my processing power? Like, if I lost it gradually as you go old and you start losing your performance, and it's, but for me, what happened was, out of nowhere, I'm thinking on a very high level, having a complex conversation with a lot of tangents and whatnot, and suddenly, boom, your eloquency is out the window. You can't even make a proper structure. You can't think of expensive words. Your brain is all over the place, and then everything else started to sell. My eyes started going bad. My head started to hurt. My tension I started feeling everywhere, and it felt like my brain was collapsing. It felt like my brain was melting. This feeling didn't go away for at least like 2 days. For 2 days, I had to deal with this. Afterwards, I started feeling a little better after I had because as soon as this happened, I called my in Portugal we call it médico de família, which is basically a doctor that is appointed to a bunch of people. You have like a family doctor. And she made an appointment. Listen, I'm completely full, but come here on Friday. I went there. She was like, listen, we're going to schedule it for a neurologist appointment, but until you get a better result from him and see what's going on, right now it doesn't feel like it was trauma. You seem to be responding pretty nicely. You just go full rest until at least for a week, and then you go to the neurologist, and basically from there it will make you do electroencephalogram or whatever the fuck that shit is called, or basically a CAT scan. I think she said like a CAT scan was a possibility, but she was like, listen, talk to him and then he decides from there what is going to happen, but I wouldn't stress it too much right now. You seem to be safe. You seem to be regaining your ability. Just, you're too young to be too stressed. This just might be your brain just forcing you to stop. So just stop. So I did. I basically I limited my screen time as much as I could, even though a lot of doctors already told me that I should not stand in front of a computer for more than 4 to 5 hours a day. I don't listen. Maybe that's part of the problem. So basically, all the way till Saturday, I barely had any screen time. I was just checking Discord to see if anything urgent was going on, but basically I was just not even getting on a computer. And basically I also need to change my glasses because my head is exhausted and it's not compensating at all. My vision is fucked up, like to the point where if I take my glasses off and you are like 5 meters away from me, I cannot recognize you. I see blurry. And this happened now. This wasn't like this a week plus ago. My eyes were bad, but they weren't this bad. It's like my brain just suddenly, all of my capabilities just went down drastically out of nowhere. It was like, it's like a car going out of gas. It feels like your computer is working and suddenly, boof, you go from a fucking, I don't know, i7 1200 700 to a Pentium 3. I don't know where your brain just goes, and now you feel like a child. You can construct sentences. You can think of convoluted. If you start thinking of convoluted thought lines, your brain starts hurt. It literally hurts. Your head hurts if you try to be too complex. If you try to remember memories that are too complex or debate topics that are too convoluted, your brain hurts. And basically, I just had to take a pause from everything, from TV, from everything. I was basically just listening to music. I was basically just doing basic ass shit, reading books, whatever. Got a lot of fresh air, went for a lot of walks. I needed it. Haven't done that in a long time. But yeah, basically I had the brain fart. That's pretty much a nice way to put it. And then now, until I see my neurologist, I have no idea exactly what I had. I scheduled an appointment to get new glasses, but the problem is I couldn't get one for this week, so the closest one is next week. And the fucked up part is, after I check for my eyes for what is the proper gradation or whatever you call it for my glasses, I need to wait probably I don't know, 3, 4, 5 days for more glasses. But I ain't gonna wait for that shit. I went back to work yesterday. I don't give a fuck. Listen, I'm feeling better. Do I feel 100%? No. At this point, I don't think I can get to 100%. My eyes are fucked up. These glasses are not the proper gradation for my eyes at this moment. I know it. But, before I move on to actually show a few of the things that we have been doing for the last few weeks and what we are missing in Bloodlust and Journey Abroad, I just want to finish this last remark with this. When I was there and my family was like, listen, why don't you do a job that is less stressful? I know that you're passionate about this, but you can make more money working in your line of work. It's less stress. You don't have to worry about a bunch of other people. Why do you want to do this? That was a big question for me. Why do I want to do this? I didn't know, so I had to think about it. I was like, maybe they're right. Maybe I do need to quit. Why am I going into debt? Why am I going into stress? Why am I doing all this for this? Like, is it really worth it? Sometimes I tend to be, just too much in the podcast when I start talking about more real shit. But here's the fucked up part. Here's the funny part. As a man, I don't know about you guys, but I want to leave something. I want to leave a legacy, even if it's a legacy of anti-games. Even if it's just something that you go home at the end of the day and you just play, and it helps you like escape from everything, all the stress, all the shit that is happening in your life, and you just go home and for a few minutes you just play a game and you enjoy it. I want this to be forever. I want the experiences in the games to be real. I want to create something that is real. I want to create something that is played by millions. I want to play something that gives people joy. And the answer to the question that my sister made me is, I've wrote these beautiful stories and these beautiful characters, these beautiful journeys that I want to share with a lot of people that I know appreciate my work, that I know that they get joy from my work. If something happens to me, if I die, if I don't continue, all those characters die, all my hard work dies in that moment. All the characters, all the plans, all the journeys, all the story, everything that I had planned, if I die today, will die with me. On one hand, you think, who gives a fuck? I died. I died. Who gives a fuck, right? But on the other hand, if I leave something, I don't want to live a life just for myself where I was happy with my wife and kids and I made some nice money and maybe some generational money, and I leave it for my kids and I'm just another, it's another person that once my kids die, once their kids die, no one is going to remember me. And I have left nothing, And it's still beautiful because when you look at everything, when you look at everything in the sense of a universe, what are we doing? Like, it's so inconsequential. But as a human, when you understand that how powerful feelings can be, how powerful it is to help another person, and that you can be as great as you can imagine, when you feel that you can influence the life of a lot of people in a positive way, when you feel like you can create, when you create something that doesn't cause any harm and brings joy to so many people, I just want to do that. I just want to do that. That's why I want to create this. I like creating things that I can, that is a shared love between me and a lot of people, our supporters, and feeling that you belong to something, feeling that you worked hard towards something, and then you constructed something. You created characters out of nowhere. You created experiences out of nowhere. And, I received so much praise and so many good compliments. Not people saying that it was good, but saying that this game made me happy. I enjoyed this game so much. I was going through a rough breakup, and Fleeting Hours kept me happy for like an entire week. The things that people have told me, like, you have helped my life in these many ways, make me feel more than myself. And once you get used to being more than yourself, once you get used to feeling like part of something greater, then you can no longer live for yourself. And I know that trigger happens a lot when you have a kid. And when you have a kid, suddenly, you stop living for yourself, you start living for them. It often happens. But this project, in a way, it's also my baby. But it's more than my baby, it's our baby. Evan Studios wouldn't be what it is if it had different fans, if it had a different support. I feel like we grew in the way that we grew, in the path that we grew, because of everyone that has been a part of this project in so many different ways. All of the victories, all of the struggles, that's what made us what we are today. And that's why I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change the struggle. I wouldn't change anything. Because that too is living, and that too is experiencing. And if all this makes me a better man, a better developer, a better whatever it is in the future, then everything was worth it. Being here right now talking to you guys, knowing that I have a community to come back to and share my experience, and know that people genuinely care about me, and everybody's exciting, everybody wants to play the game, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I miss this so much. I miss you guys so much. Even if it's just 1 hour a week, and I come here and I get to explain to you guys what we are working on and the type of good shit that we're going to release, and seeing that you guys are anxious to play it. All of this is the reason why I became a developer in the first place. I love making games. I love creating stories. I love creating these characters, and I love that you guys get attached to them. And honestly, being away for 3 or 4 days from any computers, it felt like I went like, oh my god, like, how time is relative. That movie does a great explanation, but when you accelerate outside of the Earth, 5 minutes happen outside, and then years have passed in the Earth. When you are away from the internet, you go away for 4 days, and when you come back, it feels like you went away for 4 years, because everything advanced so much. All the communities you are part of advanced so much. So much happened, and you were away from the world. You were disconnected from the world for 4 days, and it feels like you got disconnected from the world for like 4 years. It's crazy, but I miss this. I missed you guys, and I don't want to go away, and I don't want this project to end. This is my baby. I want this. I need this in my life. This makes me happy, and knowing that I make so many of you happy, and I know that this game will grow and it will make a lot more people happy. And I will do it without causing any harm to my fellow humans. I will do it with artwork. I will do it with humility. And as a man, that's all I can ask for. It's that I create something that is genuine, that it's not harmful, and that it provides joy to so many of my fellow human beings. And I get to see people experience that joy. That's why I do this. Everything else, you know what? Fuck the money, dude. Like, big complicated nickname. And then Ingong said, the best thing to do in that moment is to observe your emotions and thoughts and accept them without judgment. If you take your thoughts too seriously and identify too much with them, you suffer. The best thing to do in that moment is to observe your emotions and accept them without judgment. I take myself too seriously, Gog. Something about me that I can share with you guys, and then I'm gonna go straight to sharing stuff about the game. I had one session with a psychologist, and it was all I needed. I had one session, and basically in the end what she said was that was important is you are way too hard on yourself. And if you only gave yourself the time of the type of patience, the type of leniency that you give others, you will be such a much happier person. Because you can forgive everyone in your life. You can forgive all of them for everything that they do as long as they come back honest. You can forgive everyone for anything they do. But you cannot forgive yourself. That shit hurts to this day. Because it's true. I'm sorry I was out for so many days, guys. I promise I didn't want to, but this shit forced me. But I'm back now. Let's focus on the games. And I'm going to go straight to teasers. I hope this wasn't too heavy. I just wanted to tell you guys what happened to me. And, you know, for whoever wants to... for whoever wanted to share or learn or know what I've been through, that's kind of more or less what happened. Let's move on from sad things. And yeah, well, Morgan, you win. Morgan, here it is. We might develop this character further, but here is your janitor. We're gonna give him some glasses, some like poor rating glasses that make him feel like this sharp looking character, whatever. We have designed a few type of bodies and a janitor outfit and whatever, but there you go. You get to have your old man janitor in Bloodlust. You know, never let it be said that Stark doesn't listen to the community. We didn't have this character planned, but you know. As for the scenes, listen, I had a lot of time to think. I'm probably I probably won't be able to remember everything that I thought about for these days. I probably won't be able to remember it today on this podcast. I'm 100% sure won't. But you know how I wanted to limit the size of Bloodlust because it will take way too much time to develop and whatnot. So here's how we're gonna make like we're gonna make a deal, so to speak. We're gonna make a deal. We're gonna write 2 pads for Bloodlust. Okay? We're gonna write 2 pads. And this is how it's gonna work out. If Bloodlust, well, if Evan Studios dies, it dies, and then the game dies right there. It is what it is. We can't go past that. But if Evan Studios manages to stay afloat, and we are able to develop Bloodlust. Here's how long we're going to develop it for. If the game is still being, financially stable, and we can make, 20 more scenes, if we can keep developing for like 3-4 more months, 3 to 4 more months. If we can do that, because the game is being, financially stable and whatnot, we will do those extra scenes. If we see that it's time to move on, we'll do the essential ones, the ones that we planned originally, and then we will move on from the game. I just know that there's a few scenes, a few free roam scenes, a few scary scenes that we can do that will improve the game, or those are scenes that in my perspective are super hot, but they do not necessarily improve the plot of the game, or they are not necessary in the game. We're gonna leave those for the end. If the game is financially stable and if the game is being profitable, think of it as like a profit goal. The game is being profitable. We will work in the game like 3, 4, 5 more months, just so we will be able to share those scenes and create those scenes and whatnot. I already have a bunch of them planned, like a bunch of them. But we will see how profitable Bloodlust is being by the time we get to that part of the game. And if it's not, if basically Bloodlust is just living through Journey Abroad and basically we're making a game at a loss, we'll still make the game and we'll still make the original scenes. We will make the game just for the sake to be able to keep employing some people that we have with us right now, and if we have to operate at a loss for the rest of whatever, just for the sake of creating more experiences, we will let Bloodlust live from the kindness of Journey Abroad, or vice versa. It depends on the acceptance. But I don't mind operating on Bloodlust at a loss, as long as we are able to keep everyone in the team fed. Obviously, more money, more team, which is always better. But yeah, we're in the business of creating experiences, and if we are able to create more experiences and lose money, listen, I don't have a board of shareholders that I have to please, so fuck them and the hypothetical shareholders. And we are going to keep working on the game. I don't mind sharing. I don't mind working at a loss. We'll see. It'll be what it'll be when we get there. Another character that I think I teased, but this character, Jesus Christ, it was a problem to get it right. And this also will give you an idea of what we go through. So this is going to be Brett. You guys have seen him in Fleeting Hours. He's the guy that has all the sex with the women in the mirror, and then there's the scene with him and Eve. With him, I am and Eve, a threesome. So basically, that's like a sketch made with on the left side. There's a sketch made with AI, and then some Photoshop edits and whatnot. And then on the top was like. On the top left was a reference for what I wanted as like the shirt, and then on the right is more or less like the final product minus the shirt. So yeah, this is gonna be him. It didn't have a face yet, but yeah. So he's kind of like athletic, but not too big. We also received a few suggestions. I remember Ariane being one of the people that said we don't want all the guys to be like super jacked and whatnot. So we are definitely gonna try and have more diversity in our male characters and not just our female characters. You guys know how we care about diversity in the female characters, and I've already explained in previous podcasts and even just regular chatting how we try to make all the female main characters different from each other in many ways. from hair color to the type of hair to skin color to whatever. Let's leave that for, we've already been there, done that. We're gonna try and do that more to the male characters as well. And also, this is the character that we are currently working on, and this is basically Jazz's roommate, basically the boyfriend of her female roommate. I don't remember her name. Please don't get, on the spot. Don't make me remember characters. But yeah, he's going to be. This is going to be that character. So he's going to be Jazz's roommate, and I wanted him to be a little bulky and whatnot, because Jazz is a pretty decent fighter and she's pretty athletic, and I wanted someone that could overpower a little bit. So in this case, it's going to be someone that the design needed to be something like this, while the guy on the left is going to be more towards the the female type of wits, and obviously the character in the middle is going to be very conniving, very using his wits to be able to get with the characters and whatnot. So yeah, this is a few of the teasers for Bloodlust. And honestly, in terms of development, so much has been happening. It's been super cool. The day that I went down for the count, I was basically just checking sounds for the game. All those little menu sounds that you hear, the boom, pling, tung, all those stupid little sounds. I was checking them out. We were working on the UI of the game and whatnot. I was actually having a lot of fun, but apparently, having fun doesn't mean you are not stressed. I wanted to jump on Photoshop and show you guys some of the things that I've been doing lately. And this won't come out this patch, but maybe I can. You know what? Let's give it a try. Wait. I need to make sure I get this right. Give me a second. Okay, this is my Photoshop. Okay, I'll work on the left side of the screen. Doesn't matter. Can I? We'll try. What happens if? Oh, okay. Yep, I see what happens if. So this is me just trying to give you guys an idea of some of the stuff that we're working on. Please don't please be patient, because my brain is still not working at 100% while I am trying to show this to you guys. Give me a second. No, not this. I want to show you guys. There we go, map assets. So this is one of the last things that I did. Maybe this works. Okay, so this is. Let me see how this shows up on the stream. Ooh, no. Okay, let me adjust. Maybe here it's nice. So this is some of the stuff that we want to do to improve the quality of the game. Okay, this is just an idea. Obviously, this was us when we were working on the parallax background. I don't know if you guys know how parallax backgrounding works, but imagine something like this. This is RPG Maker, and now you guys see a grid, and if you look at it, everything kind of seems to fit the grid, right? This square ends exactly right there, this square ends exactly right there, and that's because it does. RPG Maker, every square that you see is coded on a 48 by 48 pixel square. And if you have an asset, let's say that you have a chair like this in your tile set, you can only put your table in the exact same spot where your tile set shows. So you cannot do this, for instance. You cannot move the table a little bit more to the left. You cannot move the table a little bit more to the right. You can't do that. You can't do that on RPG Maker. You need to place tile sets. Like if you get literally this square, which matches with this square and matches with this square, you need to put it on a specific place. On Photoshop, I can do whatever the crap I want. In fact, I can move this in front of this, but if I want, I can move it behind it. So here, I decided that the bush will be in the front, and that tree will be behind it, and that tree will be behind it, and it will all be behind some, you know, glass. All of this is possible in Photoshop, and this is called parallax mapping, which means it's not exactly coded in the game. You create an image, and basically in the game, a little bit of it is going to be, you know, tile sets, events, whatever, and another part of it, another portion of it will be the parallax that you can walk over and whatnot. So this is basically a bunch of layers, but when you do it on RPG Maker, when you just grab like tile sets off the internet because some are free, or you just purchase your tile sets, they are very restrictive. If you only use RPG Maker, you know, you have to follow the rules, because a tile set is something that looks like this. Just so you guys have an idea, a tile set is something that looks like this. And again, if I open the grid, there you go. This tile set is basically these doors are basically 4 tiles: the top left, top right, bottom right, and then you just grab them. And then in RPG Maker, you just go and you click on where you want them to appear, and there you go. It's there. It's that simple. But it's also obviously incredibly limiting to what you can do. So if you want to make a map look really, really good, you need to parallax the map. Now, to go a little, you know, a little further, I have been studying a lot of techniques to make the maps look better. And obviously they are not going to come out this version, but just to give you guys an idea, some of the things that we can do. We can, for instance, we can select an entire area like this, and we can create kind of like a new layer. And obviously this is going to be like, oh, this actually looks simple. Well, yeah, when, you know, now that I learned it. And you can grab something like this, not reversed, and then you can do something like focus points in light. You can do the same thing for shadows. Let's say that in this area. What? Oh, okay, I see what happened. I moved that. Let's say that in this area, that light doesn't kind of hit, right? So we're going to do something like this. And then we can regulate it for as much as we want. And then if you add a bunch of these type of details to the map is going to look a lot better. Like a lot better. And then obviously you need to respect how light works, because light doesn't dodge stuff, and you know. So this is very complex. For instance, there's light coming from here. Let's say that we have shades here and we want to create shade. Well, let's do just that. Let's go and create a new layer, just so you guys have an example. And then we can go like over here, and then we're going to create basically a layer, and we're going to make it like some black, and this is going to be shade. And then we're going to be like, yeah, well, obviously, you know, a shade is not that dense, so we're going to do this. And then to make it realistic, we're going to do something like this. Wait, did I do it to the correct? Okay, give me a second. Oh, okay, never mind. I was selecting. That makes a lot more sense. See, we can do something like that, and then we can do it over here. and then we can try and make it, seem a little bit more seamless. We can duplicate it, add another one here. Basically do this for every chair. And you guys see how slowly, if we are very patient, we are gonna have maps that look a lot better. Well, the problem is, first, I had to spend a lot of time learning this, and I'm still learning new techniques. And second, there's a lot of work to do there, and there's a lot of maps and a lot of a lot of stuff. So, but thankfully, working in the game is a process, and I hope you guys stick along to actually see the final look and the final process of my cat being silly, the final process of the game. Because obviously when Journey Abroad comes out, when Bloodlust comes out, not right now, we a lot of things are going to be placeholders. They are going to look good. They are not going to look 4 months from now good, right? This is just a few of the ways that we want to improve the game and make the game look a lot better than Fleeting Hours ever was. But yeah, there's a lot of expertise here, and there's a lot of work. There's a lot of time that we need to be putting into these things, and it's not necessarily a commodity that we have right now, especially now that this fucking thing happened to me. Let me just take a sip of water. Sorry. Overheating a little bit too much. Oh, another thing. I hope I don't. Rest in peace, headphone users. This is the type of things that we have been working with. Some of them sound a little more goofy. Some of them sound a little nicer. This is the type of things that we have been. It's these types of sounds. We want to change the very basic ones. I like that one a lot. Because the RPG Maker default ones are very basic, and we have been working with a few ones. We have been checking online. We've purchased a few packs, and we've been trying quite a few. And for Journey Abroad, we might go with a little bit more basic style, a little bit more romantic, a little bit more goofy, a little bit more modern time. And obviously, since Bloodlust is going to be a lot more cyberpunkish, a lot more futuristic and whatnot, the sounds are going to be different, the menus are going to be different and whatnot. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of differences between the games, the menus, the UIs, and yeah. Also, I am super excited to show you guys the fast travel system that we came up with for Bloodlust and Journey Abroad, because we didn't want to make the player walk the whole map, but also doing the system that most people have been using, which is going on that game. I don't remember the name of the game, but the game where you can city skylines. So basically going to city skylines, creating a city, taking a screenshot. That is illegal. We could do the world map like that, like a bunch of Dance 3D game developers do, but we didn't want to do that because, well, it's illegal. We came up with a system that basically works like this. You get a menu on the right side, kind of over here. Let me just read this up. So on the right side, kind of like over here, you get an area where you get basically an image of the map where you're going to, literally an image of the map. Over here you get like a list of the maps, and as you scroll down from them, and you have a little bit of a little icon over here showing what type of map it is. You have the map name over here, and then as you scroll down, the picture of the map over here changes, and then over here we're going to add some other type of information if you have quests here or whatever and whatnot. The idea what we have here currently. We have basically the two mainline ideas is to show you which quests you have there, or the points of interest, like if a character usually goes there a specific way, a specific day. If someone lives in that quarter, what kind of story is in that place. So let's say you say downtown, and then shows you literally a picture of the downtown map, and there's like quests here, and then it has points of interest, and it has like 7-Eleven, mall, whatever, and then when you teleport there, basically you can walk to where you need to be. So we thought that system will be super cool, and yeah, I think people are gonna enjoy it. It's gonna mix something that looks good with something that is practical. It's gonna be a mix of both. So we hope that system is pretty good. As for everything else, well, I mean, we're almost done with the game. Isaac is currently on vacations, so basically the few things that I'm left to do, which is finish a couple maps for Bloodlust, and then writing a few dialogues. I'm doing it already, and then when Isaac comes back next Tuesday, he's going to put everything in place for both Journey Abroad and Bloodlust, and then we will release. Hopefully, we are still able to release this month. We believe we can. So, fingers crossed. Let's see if we can do it. And yeah, obviously, Journey Abroad is going to have an entire week of gameplay. A lot of the systems are going to be in place, and you'll meet most of the characters, and it's going to be super cool. And for Bloodlust, well, we're only going to have a couple days of gameplay, and well, we wish we could have more, but unfortunately, shit happens. Yeah, I've explained what happened. I am. Well, it sucks. I'm not gonna say I'm sorry. There was nothing that I could do about it. My body, it's funny people say my body, my choice, but if your body decides to act up on you, you don't get to choose up a lot. It is what it is, guys. At least I'm alive. I'll take at this point, I'll take every single victory. I'll take every single note of positivity. It is what it is. But thankfully, I'm back. It's so good to see you guys. It's so good to be able to chat with you guys in the chat room once again, and share my ideas with you guys. I hope you guys are excited for the games. I know a lot of you are, and impatient, and rightfully so. But I promise we are doing our best, and damn it, we're gonna release a good game very, very soon. 2 good games, very, very soon. And yeah, this is gonna be the entryway. This is gonna be the entry point for the next patch. We wanna start going out with a bunch of anti-scenes. We wanna start going out with the battle system. We wanna start doing all that cool shit that actually gonna put the games in the map. And we are, Jesus Christ, so excited to work on those, and we can barely wait till we get to release that for you guys, and you guys can get to experience the games at their best. For now, this is what it is. I appreciate you guys so much for showing up, even though today is Thursday, and I just thought about announcing the podcast and showing you guys that I'm alive. Well, this sucked. This week sucked. I hope I'm, through the worst already. And, yeah, I'm back at work, and let's get 2 games out, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast, even though a lot of it was on a heavy note. Let's hope there's not a lot of them in the future. And if everything goes correctly, we're going to have games next week. We're going to have a podcast next week. Thank you guys so much for being patient. Thank you guys so much for all the nice emojis, all the nice words, all the private messages that you guys have sent me. When you are down, it's invaluable, man. Even though I didn't reply to a few, because I was literally trying to limit my my screen time, and even like thinking about writing and writing messages back. It's hard to explain, but everything felt like strain to me. Everything felt like a chore to me. Even writing a message on the cell phone felt like a chore. I just wanted to sleep. I just wanted to rest. But hopefully hopefully everything will be better from now on. Thank you guys once again for showing up another week. For all the patience, all everything. You guys are amazing, man. And I can't wait to let you guys play the game and feel like rewarding you guys for all the patience and all the support. You guys deserve the world, and I'll try to do the best I can to deliver it to you guys. Thank you so much. I hope to see you guys next week once again. That's all for now. Much love, much fortune, much health. Peace, guys. Take care.
Okite, wakari, ne, bo shitata. Omoida shita no wa kimi no koto desu. Okite, wakari, ne, moku nata. Wasureta kunai no wa kimi no kao desu. Shoru ni wa osoku made あなたの声を聞きたいあなたの手をつなぎたい朝にはまだ寝坊して眠たい頭が空っぽになって頭が真っ白